Hey everyone, it's me, Katie-Beth again. And today I'm going to show you how to make this cute little weird electrical parade looking dragon hat. So this project started off with me finding this spool of yarn at Michael's with a little dragon ball head on top. When you first take the wrapper off of the ball of yarn, you get this with a little bow at the end. You untie the bow and then pull out the head. It's this little topper. For mine it was this dragon. And now you have the ball of yarn without the head in there, so you can get started on that. And the crochet hook that I used was the letter H. It's a pretty standard crochet hook size. And now I just chain 3 and then pull through the end to make a little loop. This is me pulling through the end. And here's a little loop. Now that hole in the center is what you use to start doing your next crochets. And I already did them in this picture. I just did single crochets around to make the next edge that I'm going to crochet into. And now here's where I start making the scales. And I'm pretty much just making a seashell type of shape. So the first, I believe the first 2, I just did 2 chains. And then I do 3 and then back to 2 to kind of make that seashell shape. And you've probably already noticed that I'm making all of these in the one single hole, and then I count differently to spread it out, but the seashell I make in the one hole. And there I had messed up a little, so I took it off, and then no, I was right, so I did it again. And so now I'm going to count a little farther. And I don't make everything quite even. So here I'm just making the 2, but I did make sure there was a space in between them so they kind of have room to spread out and make that shell. So those were my 2, so now this one should be my 3. And I go back through again, and I got 3 there. And then one more, 1, 2, and that should have been 3, but I guess I just went straight to 2, which also makes sense on why things were so uneven. But I kind of like it because it made it puffy, more like a scale, rather than an even shell. So I got this really scaly looking pattern. So it's not even at all. You'll probably want to do a more even shell, maybe spread it out more if you want it to be more even. But this is how I got it to be so scaly. And then here it's really puffed up, so it's not even at all. And also because I wasn't counting it all, as you just saw, and it made everything kind of funky. So this part had a little funk to it, so I kind of had to pull it out to make it more even. And here's part of the problem I ran in with the yarn, that there was a lot of blemishes in the yarn. So I just kind of kept going and ignored them and tried to hide all those little blemishes in there. So this is what the hat ended up looking like. This is all the yarn that was in there. But again, the yarn's for an infant hat, not my giant head. So then this is the most similar color yarn that I could find. And I tried to finish the hat off with that. And I just did single stitches all the way around. But because it was wavy, it kind of made the edges a little scallopy anyhow. Which for my dragon themed hat really worked. So next I wanted to put wings on the dragon, but also ear covering. So I made a large one for the wings and 2 smaller ones for the ear covers. And this is just showing the difference. You can see in the corners another little one for the ears. And then I put them on there to make sure they'd kind of fit right. I measured them to my head. And now for the wing in the back, that's the one, it's the same kind of pattern I use for the ear coverings, but I just smush it down. And to get it to stay that way, I took a normal needle and thread. And I also kind of tacked it onto the head a little so that it would be attached to the head and the head wouldn't just fall forward and you just see this giant wing in the back. So this is what it looked like after I had sewed the wings on there. And here's another view. And this is after I put the ear muffs on. And later I actually tie on drawstrings onto the end of the earmuffs. So next we have the lights. This was my most exciting part of the project. I just got dollar store lights, and there wasn't a lot of them for the one pack, so I just kind of zigzagged them on there to outline the border of the wings. And at first, to hide the cables in the back, I just tried to stitch over with the green yarn. But I tried to do something better to hide that with later. And as you can see here, to hide the pack, I started making a dragon tail. So I just made it to fit the pack and then made it smaller and smaller until it tailed off. But it looks kind of funky sticking out. So I brought the tail over so it's kind of folded over. So you can only see the tail from the back, but you can tell that it's a tail. And then I hid the extra yarn on the end, tied it in there, and then cut it off. And then a better solution in my mind to hide the cables in the back than just the yarn looped around it, I took some scrap fabric and kind of backed the wings with it. So now there's this fabric in the back of the wings instead of just the knotted up looking yarn. And I really liked that look a lot more. So this is what it looks like with the back covered. And then also I went ahead and I lined the tail with these pearls just because I thought it looked cuter for a dragon tail. And as a finishing, I added some blue around the edge and then added these ties on the side to help kind of like weigh it down, and so you can just tie it underneath. Let's see. So here's what it looks like fully done. These are a little wonkied. I'm gonna say not really my best piece of work so far, but it's still really fun. And I think just a funny gift to give my mom. Pretty funny. Her nightly walks. And this ties here. Let's see. That's real fun. Funny. Well, thanks for watching me go through the process of making this project, everyone. Hopefully it gave you some ideas if you want to do some in the future. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.